So as we are heading into today's New York session, we'll have a look at Euro, Gold and GBP. Also, I got a request on Instagram to cover silver. So we'll also be looking at silver today. Euro on the daily time frame, you can see as usual, we're having a bearish structure. We pull back into the EQs and we're reacting from here. So if you look at the recent price action, you can see that price has been falling towards the downside. So here looking for sells to play the pullback is much better scenario. So let's see on the H4. So looking at the recent price action on the H4, you can see that we are forming lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower low. So now looking at the recent price action, you can see that price didn't go into this H4 supply. So this could be used as an inducement to mitigate this H4 supply and come back down later on. So right now you can see price is falling towards the downside. So looking at the H4 also, I would say that looking for shorts is much better scenario over here. Just continue with the bearish order flow. As long as the supplies are holding, we can continue looking for shorts from the supplies. So right now this is what I'm thinking on H4. We have this unmitigated H4 supply. So later on we could see price coming, sweeping these highs, mitigating it, and then maybe continuing towards the downside. Let's see on the H1. Looking at the recent price action on the H1, we have clear structure on the H1. So yesterday we had this break of structure over here. Price was consolidating over here upside. Failed to push price into this H4 supply and H1 supply and push towards the downside. So now we have another break of structure. So here I'm thinking about two scenarios. One, we have one H1 supply over here. So to play an immediate trade, maybe price could come into this H1 supply and then continue towards the downside. Or the other scenario would be price would just come, sweep these highs, mitigate this H1 supply and then push towards the downside. So these are the two scenarios that I am seeing on the H1. And if that doesn't happen, we can just expect price falling towards the downside. So maybe we can expect price coming over here and pushing towards the downside. So the only negative factor of this idea is that we have liquidity above an unmitigated H4 supply and H1 supply. So this could also be used as an inducement to push price lower. So let's look at GU. So on GU, looking at the daily time frame, after sweeping these highs, finally we are having a move on GU towards the downside. We can expect price coming into this daily demand or sweeping these lows over here. So on GU, looking for shorts is a much better play as we are in the pullback phase. Let's see on the H4. So looking at the recent price action on the H4, after a lot of consolidation over here, price finally broke down. So this H4 demand failed to push price to the upside. So now, since we got a break below this structure, we can say that we are in the pullback phase. So looking at this, I feel like we could have more downside on GU coming into this daily demand over here. Then maybe we could get a reaction from here. Price is falling towards the downside and following the order flow would be a much better play. So let's see on the H1. So on the H1, you can see that we got a break of structure over here and price was consolidating over here and then it pushed towards the downside. So now maybe since we have a supply over here, maybe price could come over here and then push towards the downside, a continuation of this downtrend. Or another scenario would be if this fails, maybe price could just push towards the upside and then from here it could make the move. So right now going into this New York session, maybe we could see price coming into this H1 supply and then continuing towards the downside. So let's look at gold. Looking at gold, you can see that on the daily time frame we mitigated this daily supply and we are currently in the pullback phase. So on gold also I am expecting downside at least into this daily demand, which would be a better area if price wants to push towards the upside, so we can play short term sells. So let's see on the H4. So looking at the recent price action on the H4, you can see that we have been forming lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, another lower high. We swept this low over here now. So since we are in the pullback phase, looking for shorts is much better play, and maybe now that we swept these lows, we have this supply over here, H4 supply. So maybe price could come over here and we can expect continuation towards the downside. So on gold also, from the H4 perspective, looking for shorts is much better play. Just follow the bearish order flow as long as the supplies are holding. Let's see on the H1. On the H1, you can see that price never mitigated this H1 supply. It just mitigated this H4 supply, pushed towards the downside. So now we even swept these lows over here. So we can follow this bearish order flow as long as the supply is holding. So here we have a fresh H1 supply over here. So maybe price could come over here and then make the move towards the downside, continue the bearish trend. So this is what I'm seeing on gold from the H1. We also have this one unmitigated H1 supply, which is the pivot zone. So maybe if they want, they can also sweep and then push into this H1 supply and then continue towards the downside. So right now we can focus on this POI. If it fails, we can look over here, but let's see if price come here and then push towards the downside. So always wait for a H1 change of character over here so that we have a confirmation. Like over here we had a confirmation of structure shifting, so expecting price to come to the downside. So let's take a look at silver also. So silver, looking at the daily time frame, it is following a bearish order flow. I'm having bearish structure. We have a break of structure over here, and right now we are in the pullback phase. You can see the internal structure is bullish. So we came into this daily supply and we are reacting from here. So you can see price has been like very corrective over here. Maybe we could see price coming into this daily supply and then push up higher. So what I feel like, we could still see price coming into this premium of the range over here, sweeping these liquidities, and then maybe if it wants, it can continue towards the downside. So right now we are having a short pullback, maybe a pullback into this demand over here. Let's see on the H4. So looking at the recent price action on the H4, the swing structure is bullish, internal structure is also bullish, and you can see that currently we are having a very corrective price action. So you can see that it has been chopping around over here. So right now you can see not much clear direction, but we are having a pullback. So I'm expecting this pullback, price coming into this daily demand, sweep these lows maybe if they want to, and then continue towards the upside. So over here, since price is currently like ranging, so looking for positions would not be a good idea over here, but you can see we have been sweeping these and then coming down, failed to close below, it pushed up again, swept again, came back down. So it's like a sideways price action. So from the H4 perspective, nothing much. If we get a break below this level, then we can expect continuation towards the downside from the fresh H4 supply. Let's see on the H1. Looking at the recent price action on the H1, we have this break of structure over here. After that, price swept these lows, pushed up high, came into this H4 supply, and then you can see came down again, failed to break below this low, pushed up again into this H1 supply, and is pulling back down now. So this is like a sideways market itself, no proper direction. So how to play a move over here would be like, if price come and breaks below this low, we can expect a continuation from the fresh supply. So this is what I'm seeing on silver. So silver is a kind of ranging right now. So looking for longs would be from this H4 demand or even into this daily demand. So I feel like maybe price can also sweep these, and then only we can have a push towards the upside. So right now there is nothing going on, it's just a sideways price action. So going into today's session, this is what I'm thinking on Euro, Gold, GBP and also silver. So if you'd like to see more daily market analysis like this, make sure to subscribe, and also if you'd like to see any more pairs, do let me know in the comment section below.